So, good morning. Thank you everyone for being here with us today. We are very pleased to welcome you to the very first virtual Czech-Bulgarian conference on the implementation of smart agriculture. This conference is divided into two blocks in 2 days. Today, the 22nd of June, and tomorrow, the 23rd of June. During these 2 days, several Bulgarian and Czech organizations and institutions involved in smart agriculture will be presented. My name is Markéta Kolerová. I am from the organizing association Wireless Info, and I will be your host during these 2 days. As I already mentioned, today we will see presentations of several Czech and Bulgarian research organizations which are active in field of smart agriculture. The aim, what we all hope for, is that our event will help to promote smart agriculture and will even initiate a closer cooperation between our countries in field of research and development of new technologies. As you could see in the program outline, we will have some time for discussion and networking after the presentations. So if you have any comments, you may save them for this time slot, or you can post them into the chat for later discussion. During the presentations, please keep your microphones muted, and if your internet connection is weak, please let your cameras off. Thank you. The conference is organized in close cooperation between the Bulgarian Embassy in Prague and Wireless Info Association, whose both representatives will welcome you shortly. So now it's time to give the floor to Mr. Karel Charvat, the leader and visionary of Wireless Info. So Karel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Markéta. It is a great honor for me to open this event. I was very happy in April when George contacted me and asked me to start discuss how we can support Czech and Bulgarian cooperation in smart agriculture. I am working long time around this. Early we call this more precision agriculture. Now it is much more used smart agriculture. But in any case, we are thinking how to make agriculture more efficient, more environmental friendly, and how we can also improve situation in our countries. We have the common history of communism, yes, and I think that our cooperation could be very effective and could help to all from us. I would like to thanks to all people who helped to prepare this event. I think mainly I have to mention Sharka. All from you probably know her because she done the biggest job. I need to thanks to Peter. I need to thanks to George, and also our partners from smart agri-hubs in Bulgaria, because in some way this was partly done in the cooperation of the partners of smart agri-hubs, and smart Agri-Hubs is one from the project who also support preparing this event. I hope that these 2 days will be useful, that we will make some good link among organization, and hopefully for the first day that we will generate some common proposal, or some partners who are here today will generate some new proposal, and tomorrow that there will be some chance to start some common business. So I would like to ask now also George Stoyov to make his invitation from the Bulgarian side.
Okay, let me unmute my microphone. Thank you, Mr. Harvat, for this possibility. Dear participants, partners, and I dare say friends, smart is as a new buzzword used in combination with any economic or industry branch implies the implementation of the new technologies such as Internet of Things, precise location, big data processing, artificial intelligence, interconnectivity. Smart agriculture is not an exception. Smart business, however, has also another intrinsic meaning, the meaning of cooperation. Because besides the application of the newest technological trends, smart business is much more about exchange of ideas, exchange of experiences, networking, and the pursuit of solutions for particular problems. That is why it's my great pleasure to see Czech and Bulgarian organizations and companies sitting together, I dare say, for the first time in the area of smart agriculture, eager to know and understand the other side, and to find new avenues for developing meaningful and successful partnership. Nowadays, we are facing challenges extending over the capabilities of any country alone. Only by uniting our efforts can we face the climate changes, disruption in the supply chains, exhaustion of the arable land, feeding the continuously increasing population with diminishing resources, and the looming environmental changes. I'm convinced, however, that by joining the efforts of the Czech and Bulgarian professionals, we'll soon bring fruits in the form of common projects, strategic partnerships, and the extension of markets. As Mr. Harvat has mentioned, it was only a month ago when we met for first time. And on our first meeting, I mean, after exchanging a couple of words, he just said, Pane Stoilové, why don't we organize a web conference at which to give the opportunity to Czech and Bulgarian research organizations, universities, professional organizations, and companies to meet together, to present what they do, to start building contacts among them. Well, I have enthusiastically jumped on the idea, and here we are together. So thank you, Pane Harvate, thank you, Sharko, and thank you, Pani Kolerova, for the organization you've done. I believe that this is only the first of many events, online and on-site, to come. I also believe that both sides can and will benefit from this cooperation. And I would like to assure you that within the possibilities given by my position, I will always look for ways to support it. And why not think big? Why not imagine that once we start building up Czech-Bulgarian agricultural ecosystem, we also attract players from other countries, Slovakia, for example, or Israel. By the way, yesterday I spoke with my colleague from Bulgarian embassy in Israel, and he believes that it might be great to have Bulgarians, Czechs, and Israelis together, building up, exchanging ideas, experiences, attracting capital, making joint science researches, name it. Okay, as a typical Bulgarian, I'm trying to have everything at once and to have it now. However, here in the Czech, I learned something very important, krok za krokem, or step by step. So, my dear friends, let's make together this first step of our common journey to success. Good luck, and may the force be with us all.
Thank you, Mr. Stoilov, for your perfect opening remarks. Thank you to Karel as well for your opening remarks. And now we can start with the presentations itself. So please let me welcome the first presenter, who is Mrs. Nadia Koničková from the Technology Center of the Czech Academy of Science, and her presentation of the Horizon Europe program as a potential for the development of the smart agriculture. So, Mrs. Koničková.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. And now I will try to share my presentation. So I hope you can see it.
Yes.
Also in the presentation mode, yeah. So once again, I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation. As I was introduced, my name is Nadia Koničková, and I'm the Czech national contact point for Horizon Europe program, and particularly for the part of the program which is related to food, agriculture, bioeconomy, natural resources, and environment. Let let me first say a few words about my organization. We support the participation of the Czech Republic in the European research area, and particularly in the framework programs. We provide services of so-called national contact points for this program. Those national contact points are established in all EU countries and many associated countries to the program and many third countries. And I remember also collaboration with my Bulgarian and CP colleagues, and particularly, I don't know if there is somebody from University of Plovdiv, but if it is the case, please pass my warm regards to Professor Ivan Minkov, with whom I collaborated in the past. We also, in my institute, prepare analytical and conceptual studies for research and development. We are members of Enterprise Europe Network, so we contribute and we help to facilitate international technology transfer, and we also support the creation and development of small innovation firms, companies. Well, I would like to mention briefly structure and budget of Horizon Europe. And then I made a search for the most relevant topics which might be of interest of research teams and companies who wish to collaborate within Horizon Europe framework program. And then I would like also to mention the Info Days organized by European Commission, and also the brokerage event, which is a virtual event to facilitate partnerships for the first call in Horizon Europe. I do not want to explain in details the whole structure of Horizon Europe. I am sure that most of you are already familiar with the structure, but I will focus your attention specifically to the pillar 2 of the program, Global Challenges and European Industrial Competitiveness, where there are major opportunities for collaboration in the area of food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, environment. And I will tackle also activities in so-called cluster 4, digital industry and space, and cluster 5, because what is one of the main features of the framework program is interdisciplinarity and collaboration across domains, across scientific disciplines. I do not want to forget also opportunities offered by the European Innovation Council, especially in the scheme which is called EIC Accelerator. So I will say a few words also about this opportunity, open mainly for the innovative companies. As well, it's worth to say that in the program there is a relatively big part in comparison to the previous program, focused on widening participation and strengthening the European research area. Sorry, there was somebody interrupting. Could you please mute your microphone when you are speaking? So this widening part focused mainly to facilitate collaborations across Europe, and it's focused mainly on countries with so far less intensive research and innovation performance. As for the budget, the overall budget of Horizon Europe is more than 95 billion euro for 7 years, and it's a 30% increase when compared to the previous program, Horizon 2020. You see also how the budget is distributed among the pillars, and immediately you see that the major part is dedicated to the Pillar 2 global challenges and a European industrial competitiveness. It's more than 53 billion euro. For the class, where you can find all these opportunities, the major source of information is EC European Commission portal, funding and tender opportunities, where you can search for funding opportunities for calls according the keywords, according the program structure. And just today, the major calls, the main calls also in the area of food, agriculture, and bioeconomic should be open. So you will see there almost 190 topics which will be open in 2021 and 2022 in this portal. So you can search funding tender opportunities. There is also a lot of useful materials, document, work programs, templates for proposal, and also model grant agreements. And for those who would like to prepare proposal, it's necessary then to register to the internal part of the program. Well, I will now attract your attention to the so-called cluster 6 with a long title: Food, Bioeconomy, Natural Resources, Agriculture and Environment. So why this cluster? Because there is a need to change, to contribute to the transformative change of the European economy and society, to reduce environmental degradation, to stop decline of biodiversity and better manage natural resources, and also to serve European climate objectives, ensure sufficient amount of food and as well water security. In this area, the calls and projects should contribute to 6 main impacts, which are climate neutrality, biodiversity, aiming to recovery, preservation of ecosystem, then circular management and use of natural resources, food and nutrition security, and also contribute to sustainable development of rural, coastal and urban areas, and to develop a new innovative governance model to achieve those goals and impacts. In the work program, you will find 7 destinations. I will introduce you to them briefly. And just today, as I have already mentioned, the call for 2021 will be open with the deadline for submission of project proposal on 6 October 2021. Let's go briefly through all the 7 destinations. Here in the first destination, which corresponds to the call, also biodiversity and ecosystem services, all actions should contribute to biodiversity recovery, to preservation of ecosystems and their services, and to contribute to restoration of land, inland waters and sea through improved knowledge and innovation. Also, under this part of the program, the long-term strategic research agenda for biodiversity will be developed. In 2021 call, I would like to point out specifically 2 topics. The first one, understanding the impacts and opportunities offered by digital transformation. Here, the project should help identify and save operating space in which digitalization and new emerging technologies will be a certain means for protecting, restoring, and sustainable use of biodiversity and ecosystem services. The second topic, observing and mapping biodiversity and ecosystems, will, for example, use of satellite and drone images to assess pressures on freshwater, coastal, and marine ecosystems. The second destination, the second call in this big area, fair, healthy, and environmentally friendly food systems from primary production to consumption, will focus on sustainability of farming systems, fisheries, and aquaculture, and as well on food systems for health, sustainability, and inclusion. In 2001, there will be a topic on digitalization as an enabler of agroecological farming systems. Agroecology is considered here as a holistic approach that relies on the use of ecological processes to support agriculture production. So here the project should provide evidence of existing innovative digital tools and technologies that specifically support the transition to agroecology for different crops, farming systems, and different pedoclimatic conditions, and understand the barriers, drivers, and risk and usability of aspects of digital tools. The second topic should contribute to the ambition of developing sustainable, productive, and climate neutral, biodiversity friendly, and resilient farming systems, and development potential of the use of blockchain in the agri-food sector. Well, we are at the same call. You can have a look also at the topics which will be open in October with deadline next year. So there are topics on innovative solution to prevent adulteration of food. Well, there is a potential of new technologies fit for farmers and food businesses to enable traceability and transparency along the supply chains, and in particular those with organics and geographical indications labels. The next effective system for authenticity and traceability should contribute to improve transparency through digital solution as Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, again, blockchains and other to meet consumer demands. And the third one, smart solution for the use of digital technologies for smart small and medium-sized farms. Here the proposal will support the development of small and medium-sized farms to benefit from digital technologies. Well, the third destination, circular economy and bioeconomy sectors, the focus of activities here is on circularity, which aims at less waste and more value, but by extending the lifetime of products and materials. They will be delivered integrated circular solution in territorial and sectoral levels, and as well this area should contribute to sustainability of bio-based systems, sustainable forestry, and small-scale rural-based solution, and so on. There are topics, of course, also in 2021 but for smart smart solution, I would say, I would like to mention sorry, I'm back to two topics. The first one should use digital tools, sensors, and methods for improved efficiency, climate change adaptation, and sustainability of industrial processes in the bio-based sectors. And the second one should deploy of information and communication technologies in forestry to optimize productivity, as well as the delivery of ecosystem services. The fourth call, the fourth destination is focused on clean environment and zero pollution. It's clear that pollution must be halted and eliminated to guarantee clean and healthy soils, air, but as well fresh and marine water. And also here we will find some opportunities, for example, in the topic optimization of nutrient budget in agriculture. They will be search for new approaches supported with indicators to monitor and measure nutrients flows and practices with the greatest climate change mitigation. And the proposals here should build on existing and new knowledge, data and models, artificial intelligence and tools. In 2022, there will be a topic on preventing groundwater contamination. So here the project should deploy innovative monitoring strategies, including advanced sensors and analytical methods, and again, integrate IT tools and advanced modeling. In the topic securing drinking water quality by protecting water sources. Here, the research and innovation activities should advance water quality assessment needs, further development of sensors, sensitivity, automated routine monitoring, and fast analytical responses that fully integrate IT information technologies advances. We are now in the destination 5, the fifth calls, land, oceans, and water for climate actions. Here, all the activities should contribute to assessing the impact of climate change on our land and marine environments and natural resources, agriculture and food systems. For 2021, there is a topic to create demonstration network on climate smart farming. This topic is aimed at speed up involvement and adoption by farmers of innovative practices that mitigate emissions of greenhouse gases and that foster adaptation of the sector to climate change. For 2002, there is a similar topic, but in 2002, it will be more focused on boosting the role of advisory services. In the destination 6, resilient, inclusive, healthy, and green rural, coastal, and urban communities, the activities should aim at better understanding of environmental, socioeconomic, behavioral, cultural, and demographic drivers of change. Also here, we have some interesting opportunities. The first one should contribute to more evidence-based, integrated and tailored policy strategies and governance framework at local, regional, but as well EU levels to drive the sustainable transition of rural areas and communities. The second topic should contribute to capacity building on rural innovation. The next one, which I have chosen, here the successful proposal will strengthen the capacities of farmers, foresters, and rural communities through connectivity gains. And the project here should also reduce digital divides between different types of farms, sectors, and regions. In 2002, there will be an area of smart solutions for smart rural communities. Here, the project should contribute to enlargement of set of smart solutions for rural communities, mainly practical and transferable innovation solutions to challenges faced by rural communities in a variety of fields. And last but not least, the last call, the seventh destination is focused on innovative governance, environmental observation, and digital solutions in support of the Green Deals. Here, the activities aim at experimenting with new ways to govern the transition process and modernizing the governance. And again, in 2001, there will be many opportunities which I would like just to list. I will not go to details, but I will really encourage you to see those opportunities, to read carefully the work program, because there is many opportunities for use of digital technologies, use of data, and of course, there are potential of drones, for example, as multi-purpose vehicle, and in terms to evaluate also risk, but on the other hand, the added value of use of these technologies, and as well, for example, there will be assessed the impact of digital technologies in agriculture from the point of cost benefits and potential for sustainability gains. Well, in 2002, again, there will be opportunities to collaborate collaborate in joint projects. Again, some examples of topics which will be called. And this is for the cluster 6. This table just summarizes the opportunities in 2021. You see budgets for the 7 calls, and also number of topics calls and the type of instrument, if it's innovation action, research innovation action, or collaboration and support actions. I would like to attract your attention also to the partnership in cluster 6. In 2021, there will be open 2 opportunities for co-fund partnerships in area of rescuing biodiversity and water for all. Co-fund partnerships means that it's a partnership between European Commission. European Commission contributes certain amount to the partnership, and member states, especially ministries or funding agency, support the other part of the partnership, and jointly the research innovation agenda is created, and based on this agenda there will be call for proposal to which research institutes, companies or universities can as well participate and prepare joint project for a proposal. Very briefly, there are also opportunities in cluster 6, climate, energy and mobility. Probably the most relevant area is climate science and responses for the transformation towards climate neutrality. Here you can see some areas which will be supported. Again, the opening will be in 3 days, and deadline is expected already in September. There is also a call on cross-sectoral solutions for the climate transition. So I would like to mention, well, emerging breakout technologies and climate solutions. Then I would like to mention also cluster 4, digital industry and space. There are also quite interesting opportunities, and specifically in the area, in the destination digital and emerging technologies for competitiveness and fit for the Green Deal. There are two topics, functional electronics for green and circular economy, which might be of your interest. In this area, the focus is on integration, flexible and printed electronics in various application domains, including agriculture and environment. And the second topic, artificial intelligence, data and robotics, will seek for solutions for resource optimization and minimization of waste in any type of sector, from agri-food to energy. There is also opportunity in destination open strategic autonomy in developing, deploying and using of global space. Here I would like to mention specifically two topics, Copernicus Land Monitoring Service Evolution, it's topic for 2022. Here the main scope is to develop new and innovative methods to combine and explore data with different spatial and temporal characteristics, using automatic processing for land cover and land cover status change assessment. And the second topic is here the solutions will be those which provide for food security and traceability across the entire supply chain and the valorization of the Made in Europe initiative. So this was related to the so-called clusters in the second pillar. I mentioned already that there will be an opportunity also in European Innovation Council Accelerator Scheme. Here the objectives is support to companies to scale up high impact innovation, potential to create new markets or disrupt existing ones. So the accelerator fosters particularly innovation. This scheme is completely bottom up. It means that it's open to any domain of innovation, including smart agriculture. And last but not least, I would like to mention the opportunity to listen to the European info days for all clusters in Horizon Europe. There will be a 1 or 2 day in action. Here on the link you will see the overview of the info days, and specifically I would like to mention the opportunity to participate in the brokerage event, which is planned on 9th of July. And if you are interested, you can still register and find partners or try to find partners for joint project for the first call in the cluster 6. And that's all from my side. I hope I didn't check the time, but I hope that it was not too long. And if you have questions or you would like to get some detailed information, I can send you the work program or the precise link to the information on the funding and tenders portal once the calls are open today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Koníčková, for the great overview of Horizon Europe program.
Sure.
What I have not mentioned yet is that all presentations will be available for download. So in case you miss anything, you don't need to worry. You can easily catch up on all information. So now it's time for the second presenter, who is Mrs. Fiatlana Boyanova from Bulgarian Agrohub, and her presentation on digital transformation of the Bulgarian agriculture. So Mrs. Boyanova, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marketa. And I just first really want to thank you, all of you, organizers from Czech side and from Bulgarian side. It's not very easy to organize such an event, especially for the first time. So I appreciate a lot your efforts. Now, just to present myself shortly, mainly for the Czech participants, I am Svetlana Boyanova from Bulgarian Agrohub, .bg. Actually, I'm also one of the founders of this Agrohub, Digital Innovation Hub for Agriculture. We are part of the Smart Agri-Hubs project network. But apart from this, I am also a chairperson of the Institute for Agro Strategies and Innovations. And this institute is one of the founding members of the Agrohub. I'm also, as Ms. Konichkova, a member of the National Network for Horizon program of the European Union. That's why thank you very much for the presentation. It is very detailed. It was very detailed and very useful. In reality, we agreed to separate the two presentations, so I will not repeat also what she said, but all the information also is available here in Bulgaria in my face and the Institute for Agro Strategies and Innovations. Now, shortly, I will start to share my screen. Today, I will be more focused on other possibilities for digital technologies that could be implemented in both countries in the agriculture. First, let me tell you that just for your information, exactly what is in Bulgaria, the agriculture. Can you see my screen now? Is it fine?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Shortly, as you see, we have 5 million approximately hectares for agricultural purpose, which is a huge percent of the country's territory. Still, our gross value added is not so big as we all wish, 3.9%. It was much more in the past. But after the communist time, as it was mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, really the share of agriculture reduced. Different reasons, of course. Farmers are around 87,000. Oh, why I cannot move my screen? Just a second. Can you see the screen changing?
Not yet.
Something happened. Just a second. Now, yes. When we started to explore this situation, what exactly, because digital technologies itself, they are not so much, how to say, important itself, but they need to help the farmers to tackle all the challenges in the production level, in the level of processing, and also then to marketing and to sell the product they produced. One of the main challenges in Bulgarian agriculture, where we need the help of digital technologies, is irrigation, because the irrigation system was destroyed after the communist time. Then the land relation management is also hot topic in Bulgaria, as we don't have land consolidation yet. Now our farmers, in addition, on the top, they should really meet the environmental and climate challenges in front of them. And the last but not least, really the demographic changes and lack of digital skills is something that we should work on. So having said that, what are really the challenges? We, as the Institute of Agro-Strategies and Innovations, we drafted for the government, for the Ministry of Agriculture, strategy for digitalization of agriculture in rural areas, and we tried to focus on some particular pillars. Without them, we cannot talk about digital transformation at all. And as you see, first we put the emphasis for the digital infrastructure development, which is the broadband and some network of sensors. We think, and we put already in practice, that our farmers should have access to investments for modernization and technologies for precision agriculture. Of course, training and consultation is a very important activity which the government should support and put in the strategy. The role of digital innovation hubs should be recognized by the government as well, and it was done, by the way. I will explain you later, because in the digital innovation hubs, we can see three groups of organizations from the knowledge triangle. These are the universities, and part of Agrohub, for example, is Agrarian University, that they will have a presentation later on. But we have another also universities and institutes, research and development institutes under the Bulgarian Academy of Agricultural Science. Also, the other group organization are farmers. We have grain associations, some greenhouses, etc. And the key group as well, these are the technological companies who can provide to our farmers different digital solutions, like using IoT, automatization, artificial intelligence, robotic. We have also one of our members is a professional association for robotics and automatization. And of course, if only the farmers are changing, the public administration and the administration services provided by the government to the farmers are crucial. That's why this activity is supported with some funds in the strategy. And what we realized and proposed to the government, and they accepted, it is the introduction of the blockchain technology as a distributed ledger technology in the agricultural sector, just to test, to see is it working or not. And as Ms. Konichkova said, there is a special call for blockchain technology in the Horizon Europe program. Let me just shortly tell you, money here are already available. Now, currently, we have a measure under the Rural Development Program where our farmers could apply for the technologies in their holdings. Part of the money are under the Next Generation plan, which every country, including Czech Republic, could put in the measure 4.1. And currently we are in the process, ongoing procedure for projects for investments in different digital technologies which are needed by the our farmers. Could be cereal producers, greenhouses, livestock farmers. Of course, different technologies for different scale of holdings and different type of production. What else? We have Bulgarian Recovery and Resilience Plan as an option for financing the digital transformation in Bulgaria, but also in Czech Republic, I guess. Depends what did you recognize as a topic under the Next Generation and Recovery and Resilience Plan. We have there some digital solutions, but they will go directly to the Ministry of Agriculture. We call digitalization from farm to fork, where different models in the electronic system could be how to say, established, and each farmer and all the agency will put the data in this section related mainly to the pesticides, use of pesticides, use of fertilizers. Organic farmers should also be there as the data, we can put some module for trainings and education, and mainly these ones who are related to European Innovation Partnership, where the innovative ideas, also the digital solutions are there, could be also included in this system. Now, shortly, just to finish, because I have only 10 minutes, as I said, the Agrohub is the Bulgarian Digital Innovation Hub. As I mentioned, most of our presentators today and tomorrow, as ONDO, as Relapse, as the European Enterprise Network, Agriculture University in Plovdiv, but also Institute for Vegetable Crops in Plovdiv as well. We are based in Plovdiv, which is actually very much agricultural region, but also our scientists are there as well. We are trying to be, by definition, digital innovation hub, one-stop shop for digital solutions and innovation for our farmers, but not only. Now we are applied and we were approved in the Ministry of Economy at the phase member state to be European Digital Innovation Hub. Now we expect the call in front the procedure in front of the European Commission to be approved as such. Why I'm saying that? Because in the framework of the European Digital Innovation Hub under the Digital Europe program, we as Czech and Bulgarian companies and farmers, we can work, we can cooperate together in order to exchange knowledge, especially in our sector. It is encouraged by the Commission, by the way, to have at least one hub who is dealing with agro-food, because we have declaration for smart agriculture signed by all the ministers of agriculture during the Innovation Day in 2018, including Bulgaria. So this will be another option apart from Horizon, where we can cooperate together. And also last year I ran European Innovation, European Institute for Technology for Food in Bulgaria. We were EIT Food Hub, where a lot of options, as Ms. Konechkova said, are also available under the EIT Food. So a lot of possibilities depend on us how we are going to use and to cooperate. Some of the services we can provide not only for Bulgarian farmers, but currently, yes, mainly to our Bulgarian farmers. This is, by the way, very nice table developed by the Smart Agri Hubs. Mainly we are focusing now on testing and validation. Some products we are going to test in the greenhouse and irrigation mainly, but not only. Also, we are going to put some efforts on skill and education, access to financing, and project development. I will not talk too much, just to shortly present you that we are ready to work together and to cooperate. Thank you very much. And I'm ready to answer to your questions.
Okay, so many thanks to Fiatlana Boyanova from Bulgarian Agrohub. And now it's time to give the floor again to Mr. Karel Charvat from the Czech Association Wireless Info and his presentation, Agriculture Digital Innovation Hub's Future Vision. So Karel, you can start.
Thanks, Marketa. Do you see my screen, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I will shortly introduce Wireless Info. Our history started more than 20 years ago, and in reality, Wireless Info was the result of the first project, which was coordinated by Czech coordinator, and this project was called Wireless Info and was focused on wireless technology in agriculture and forestry. And on the end of the project, we decided to establish Wireless Info as a research association. And from this time, Wireless Info is active on European research, mainly in agriculture, rural development, and this topic we are dealing with geographic information, big data, remote sensing, and other topic. We have large experiences during these 20 years with different European projects. We participate more than on the 20 international research projects. It included early framework program, now Horizon, but we are also active in European Space Agency project, Visegrad Funds, and Erasmus. There is a really huge number of the project, but I would like to mention some projects from last year: Foodie, EUXDAT, EO4 Agri, IOF 2020, of course, Smart Agri Hubs, which was already mentioned today, Stargate. So these are all projects where we were in last year active, or we are now active, and smart farming is the hot topic for us, and we are trying to work on all the topics about this on the technology side, but also we are trying to help introduce smart farming in agriculture. We are cooperating very closely with the Czech Farm Association and other organizations in Czech Republic, and we are trying to support this. We are also trying to support education in the smart farming, because we see this as the key aspect for future adoption of smart technology by farmers to at first train trainers and then train farmers, because what we recognize in our country that very often also, for example, resellers of the technology, they are selling machine which is able to support precision farming, but they don't have knowledge about this. And of course, we need to have a trainers advisor who will know very well what is necessary, who will know how to manage the data. And this is also the topic where we are now trying to be active. As I mentioned, we are the part of Smart Agri-Hubs. We are part of the Central European Cluster, and we are colleague of the Central European Cluster on one side, but on the other side, we are also building the Czech Agri-Hub, which is some space for from one side, social space where people can exchange on the information, but also what we are trying to support, testing of new technology, managing the data, and we are trying to integrate data from Czech Republic into one portal to be possible easy use by farmers, not only on the portal, but for example, we are now integrating QGIS technology, and also we are trying to make some mobile access. What we develop some prototype type of hub, and this is something what is very easy possible to transform for other purposes. Now this solution is used in a number of the project and activities, not only in Europe, but also in Africa. In Africa, we are one from the organization which is running Smart Afri Hubs. In last months, we help to our Slovak colleagues to develop such type of innovation hub also in Slovakia. One from our key activities is Earth observation. We are now working with mainly with Copernicus data, with Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2. What you see here are some building of land use and land cover for Africa, but of course we are doing the same in the Europe. We are now trying to integrate land parcel information system with Earth observation data, and I think that we have here very good result. We are planning to go for future project, and we are looking for different partners. We see as important to have more people cooperating with us from artificial intelligence modeling, but of course from the agronomy, yes, because what I see as important is to connect people with different skills. Yes, IT people are never able to support fully farmers without agronomes. We need to have earth observation expert, IoT experts. So we are looking for people in a different domain who are able to cooperate with us. And of course, what is important to have also for projects, good pilots. Our interest is to focus on big data and Green Deal and rural development. As Nadia mentioned, there is a number of opportunities, but also for us are important the calls related to GEOS, Copernicus, and anything what is related to smart farming. We have, I think, good expertise in writing of proposal. We are able to cooperate on writing proposal and preparing proposal, but also due our 20 years history, we have a large network of contacts in Europe, included big company like, for example, Atos, Intrasoft, different research organizations like Fraunhofer, Sintef, VTT, Vito, and other, and of course a number of small organizations. In the technology, we are able to offer this innovation hub, which could be easy modified and cloud infrastructure, and in the area of services, earth observation, sensors, and data analysis. So this is shortly all about wireless info. You can see here the addresses to our web pages and also to our hub. And if you will be interested, you can easily contact me on my email address. Thank you very much for your attention.
So thank you, Karel, for your nice presentation. And now it's time to give the floor to Mr. Milan Krastev from the Bulgarian Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry. And his presentation is called Support for Agriculture Digitalization. So Mr. Krastev, you can now start.
Thank you, Mrs. Kovarova. So I'll try to share my screen. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we can.
You hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So I would like to present to you information about the rural development policy in Bulgaria as a representative of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry. Of course, at that point, I cannot give you specific details about plant financial resources and financial conditions about the future with regards to the CAP strategic plan, but I will try to introduce you some of the main intentions of the managing authority at the moment. And I hope that this information will be useful for the participants. First, I would like to introduce some of the main actors responsible and involved in the implementation of the Rural Development Program, which is maybe the most important tool for promoting innovation in agricultural sector in Bulgaria at the moment. Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry, part of which is Rural Development Directorate, who is the managing authority of RDP, is responsible and plays main role for the implementation of CAP in Bulgaria, and especially RDP as an instrument of second pillar since 2007. The other important body is State Fund Agriculture, which plays the role of paying agency in Bulgaria. The State Fund is also responsible for the implementation of some of the most important measures included in the RDP on the basis of delegated agreement. In the structure of State Fund Agriculture, there are 28 regional bodies and 11 regional paying agencies. National Agricultural Advisory Services is important part of agricultural knowledge and innovation system in Bulgaria, as it provides advisory services, current information and technical assistance to farmers for the implementation of efficient and competitive agriculture in Republic of Bulgaria in accordance with the EU standards. The territorial structure of NAAS covers all 28 administrative regions And NAS is targeting mainly young and small farmers, as in the current programming period, Bulgaria is implementing thematic sub-program for small agricultural holdings supported by the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development. The science in the face of the Agricultural Academy, which has more than 100 years of history, deals with issues related to scientific research, innovation, and education activities in the field of agriculture and food. The Academy includes more than 40 institutes and experimental stations positioned in different regions. Of course, Plovdiv University, Trakian University, and Russian Rus University should also be mentioned as very important actors when speaking about knowledge, science, and education bodies in Bulgaria. Mrs. Yancheva and Mrs. Boyanova will later present their presentation after me. My presentation includes context of this organization in case the Czech participants are interested in future collaboration to make things easier. Now, some information about the implementation of the current rural development program. The total budget of the program is almost 2.9 billion euros. The financial resource targeting priority 2 linked to competitiveness and sustainable development of agricultural sector is 556 million euros. Priority 4, which is addressed mostly by the agri-environment measures, has distributed 8,045 million euros. Priority 6 is linked with the improvement of life in rural areas with financial resource of 788 million euros. The main measure, which incorporates most of the budget, is measure 4 with almost 800 million euros. The measure targets mainly agricultural holdings and small and medium enterprises in the food processing sector, but also includes sub-measure providing opportunity for investments in irrigation infrastructure. The up-to-date information shows that at the moment, 80.5% of the overall budget is contracted, and paying agency managed to pay 60.7% of the financial resource. At this point, we do not expect any kind of difficulties regarding possible decommitments of funds. At that point, the financial implementation is going as planned. Currently, there are 10 approved modification of the program and one ongoing with regards to transitional period, which includes transfer of additional public expenditure of 760 million euros, including 202 million euros from the European Recovery Instrument. Rural Development Program is developed in accordance with specific objectives identified in the Innovation Strategy for Smart Growth. Therefore, some of the measures included in the program contribute to this specific strategy. On the first place, I would like to mention sub-measure 7.3, Broadband in Rural Areas, which is an instrument that aims to provide next generation infrastructure for broadband access in rural areas. In the last year, the COVID pandemic showed us the importance of high-speed internet connectivity, especially when the education system was forced to go online, which is only one of the examples of the positives from that kind of investment. This investment will provide not only better life conditions in rural areas, but also will create better conditions for investment in rural areas. This project is expected to be finalized not later than September 2025. Sub-measure 16.1, which provides support for operational growth within European Innovation Partnership, is other important innovational tool that aims to encourage cooperation between different stakeholders, including farmers, scientists, small and medium enterprises, universities, and NGOs in order to promote interactive forms of innovation for agriculture, productivity, and sustainability. Currently, we have 18 approved operational groups that are implementing their projects and 34 project proposals under second procedure that are under examination. we intend to start third call for proposals for operational groups till the end of the year after evaluation of this project is finalized. Information about the approved projects with potential for innovation can be found at AIP Agri Operational Group database site. Third, but very important instrument is the well-known Measure 4, Investment in Physical Assets, which probably has the most important impact on the agricultural competitiveness, sustainability, and productivity in Bulgaria, as it provides various kinds of opportunities to invest in modernization and innovation. Since the beginning of the programming period, we have 3 finalized calls for proposals under submeasure 4.1 and 1 ongoing, which is going to continue till the end of September. Under the first 2 calls, there are 1,300 beneficiaries with signed contracts for investment for more than 609 million euros, including investment in effective irrigation, smart farming, energy efficiency, and digitalization. Unfortunately, despite the significant positive results in the last years, the processes of preparation of the Common Agriculture Strategic Plan for the next programming period identified some major weaknesses, threats, and concerns regarding the level of innovation and digitalization in agricultural sector. The Digital Economy and Society Index of EU assigns Bulgaria under 27th place on the Integration of Digital Technology Index. The analysis of agricultural sector made it clear that technology development is insufficient and the level of innovation in all agricultural sector is low. There is strong need for introduction of new technologies, innovation, and digitalization in the agricultural activities. Bulgaria has adopted strategy for digitalization of agriculture and rural areas of Republic of Bulgaria, which Mrs. Boyanova presented as a main author before me, which will be taken into account in the process of developing of the interventions in order to improve the competitiveness and, of the agricultural holdings through new smart technologies. In addition, agricultural knowledge and innovation system in Bulgaria that works at the moment needs improvement in many areas in order to unlock the potential for innovation through better joint actions of different actors, but also by improvement of the knowledge transfer among the farmers. Under 2 of the specific objectives with the strategic plan is targeting, I would like to point out some of the main identified needs which Bulgaria should follow through specific actions. On the one hand, there is a specific need for implementation of innovation and digitalization in sustainable, well-developed agricultural holdings. But on the other hand, there is still need for acceleration of modernization and technological renewal of small and medium farms, which represent more than 80% of the total agricultural holdings in our country. It's also clear that scientist help is needed, so scientists must be involved in the agricultural practice more actively because of the new conditions, problems, and challenges that farmers are facing. Under the cross-cutting objective, there are 4 other needs that must be addressed in order to foster the sharing of knowledge, innovation, and digitalization in agriculture in rural areas. First of all, there is a need for strengthening the links between agri sectors to encourage knowledge transfer and innovation. There is strong need also for improvement of the professional qualification of entrepreneurs and employees in the agricultural sector. There is also need for encouraging different forms of cooperation to find innovations, problem solution, and to disseminate the results among stakeholders. And also, last but not least, support for the implementation of digital technologies for farm management and optimization of production and administrative processes at the holdings. The current ongoing process of preparing the strategic plan includes wide public consultation with stakeholders. Of course, there are important innovation instruments within the farm advisory services and special intervention for knowledge transfer and education, but with respect to the identified needs which send us clear message about the action that must be undertaken. And the main topic of the Czech-Bulgarian conference on the implementation of smart agriculture, I would like to point out 3 important interventions planned under the strategic plan. These are investment in agricultural holdings, support for operational groups under AIP, and investment in digitalization. I believe that in future, these instruments are going to play a main role for the improvement of the Bulgarian agriculture with planned activities under them. It's very important to find out the right balance to target the financial support right where it's needed. With respect to that, I hope that Bulgarian authorities will be able to establish working financial support instruments which are going to change the whole picture. I will be happy to give you additional specific information in future regarding this intervention when the preparation of the strategic plan goes to another level. And as Mr. Stoyov said at the beginning, I hope that this is the beginning of one fruitful Czech-Bulgarian cooperation. And at the end of my presentation, I would like to use the floor to wish luck to the Czech football team this evening against England. Thank you for your attention.
So thank you, Mr. Krastev, for your presentation on how the Bulgarian agriculture digitalization is and can be supported. And now we will move on and continue with another Czech presenter, Ms. Hanna Kubíčková from the Plan for All organization and her presentation on research and innovation projects. So Hanka, you can start.
Now I'll start sharing my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hanna Kubíčková, and I have a pleasure to introduce you to the Plan for All research and innovation projects and its activities, not only in the Czech Republic, but also globally. At the beginning, I would like to briefly tell you about the history of Plan for All. The idea of establishing Plan for All Association arose already in the period of 2009 and 2011 as a result of the e-Content Plus project Plan for All, that was an European network of best practices for interoperability of spatial planning and information. The goal of the Plan for All project was to collaborate on data specifications for the Inspire directive. In 2012, we got another funding for the Plan for Business project that enhances a previous one, and its aim was to develop a platform serving multiple providers and offering users a full catalog of planning data, such as transport infrastructure, regional plans, urban plans, and zoning plans. Plan for All itself was established as a result of these projects and the following project through the Open Transport Map and SDI for apps. Finally, in January 2015, the association was founded by 3 Czech organizations. These are the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen, Help Service and Remote Sensing, and Czech Center for Science and Society. Plan for All is, as I've already mentioned, global non-profit association of legal entities, including self-employed natural persons. And its mission is to sustain and further enhance results of multiple research and innovation projects. And we also tend to transfer results of such activities into practice, which is a key element. Another aim is to provide access to data and support for geospatial data for planning activities and decision-making processes. The main objective of Plan for All is to offer open data for reuse in research, development, business, innovation in the areas of spatial planning, smart farming, transport, smart mobility, open data, geographic information systems, and, for example, sensor data and traffic modeling. Plan for All also aggregates large open data sets called Open Land Use, Smart Points of Interest, and Open Transport Map. You will learn about them later on. And important activities also include the organization of so-called Inspire hackathons that has been organized by Plan for All since 2016, when the first hackathon took place within the Inspire conference in Barcelona. Since then, Plan for All has organized 18 Inspire hackathons, not only in Europe, but also in Africa and South America. In times of COVID-19 crisis, Plan for All organizes hackathons exclusively virtually. I can mention the Kampala Inspire Hackathon, which was the first fully virtual hackathon for Africa, addressing some of the key topics identified by the IST Africa conference, such as agriculture, environmental sustainability, collaborative open innovation, and ICT-enabled entrepreneurship. Last week, we have concluded the Open Spring Inspire Hackathon focused on precision farming, the environment, and geospatial applications. And in case of interest, you can check our Plan for All website or Plan for All YouTube channel, where you can learn about these results further. Since 2015, the membership has grown to 60 members from Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. There are currently 37 Czech members, including public bodies, universities, research organizations, and enterprises. On the website, there is a link. You can see all the members there. Among others, Plan for All is active in a number of other international organizations like Open Geospatial Consortium, Research Data Alliance, where I can mention the main involvement in the Agricultural Data Interest Group, Big Data Value Association, Global Open Data for Agriculture and Nutrition, and in May 2020, Plan for All received an invitation to become a participating organization of the worldwide group on Earth observation. In the Czech Republic, Plan for All is involved in the activities of the Digital Coalition. Now back to the data sets, which I've mentioned at the beginning. Plan for All maintains 3 of them in collaboration with several European projects, including SDI for Apps, Open TransportNet, and Foodie. These data are continuously being published through various interfaces. Currently, there are Open Land Use Map, Smart Points of Interest, and Open Transport Map. Open Land Use Map is a composite map that is intended to create detailed land use maps of various regions based on Korean land cover and urban atlas, enriched by available regional or local data. For example, in the Czech Republic, we have included also data from Cadastre, which makes it more detailed. Then we have Smart Points of Interest, which is the biggest open database with 30 million points of interest from more than 200 countries, including many dependent territories and Antarctica. And the last one is Open Transport Map that allows routing and visualization of traffic volumes of the whole European Union. The underlying data come from OpenStreetMap and are accessible in the scheme compatible with Inspire Transport Network. All these open data sets, together with applications, can be found at Plan for All Digital Innovation Hub. That is a platform that Plan for All, together with Wireless Info, developed to connect people to the information. Firstly, with integrating principles of social media like blog, forum, design science shop that enable to connect users with developers and researchers. And secondly, by integrating different types of demo applications where developers and researchers will have a chance to cooperate, test different APIs for new solutions, and also provide common experiments. Plan for All is actively involved in the execution of International Horizon 2020 projects, mainly in the precision farming domain, like EUX.SU soil or EU4Agri. Then also regional planning, where the polyrural project falls, and transport, where Polyvizu or Duet can be mentioned. And who we are looking for are the users of our applications and data, the one who are interested in use of open land use, smart points of interest, and open transport map in various industries, transport, tourism, geospatial applications, environment, sustainability, and of course, smart agriculture. And when it comes to Horizon Europe program, we are interested in the cluster 2 to 6 and the topics that falls into the domains of Plan for All, which are smart agriculture, transport, the environment, biodiversity, or regional planning. So in case you identify a call where Plan for All could fit, we would be very pleased to cooperate with you. Thank you very much for your attention. And here you can see my website. So in case of interest, do not hesitate to contact me via following email address. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Hanka, for your presentation of Plan for All organization. We are now slowly moving to the second half of today's program. So let me introduce another presenter, which is Ms. Svetla Jancheva from Agricultural University in Plovdiv, and her presentation on challenges for agricultural education, digitalization, internationalization, and sustainable development. So, Ms. Jancheva, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Once again, good morning to all the participants. And I would like to share our experience and challenges for agricultural education facing digitalization, internationalization, and sustainable development. And what is really the state of art? 81% of agricultural territory is rural of Bulgaria. 46% is agricultural land and 37 foresters. But 39% of the population live in the rural area. The agricultural holding in Bulgaria utilizes 12 hectares of land, but over 20%, 91% of agricultural holdings have less than 5 hectares. Also, another problem in Bulgaria is the age of the farming community that is older than average in European member countries. Key challenging for the agriculture are the increase of the assortment range of crops grown, connected with the biodiversity, overcoming the unfavorable related to the climate changes, control of plant and disease and pests, and environmental protection against pollution, circular economy, and sustainable development of the sector. Bulgaria provides end-to-end solution to developing the agri-sector because of the following prerequisite: unique natural conditions for cultivation of a wide range of crops, ecologically clean and fertile soils, very high quality of organic products, established local producers, and strong tradition in the sector, providing agricultural education and science with practical application. Also, very high health and environmental protection standards make Bulgarian products fully prepared to meet even the highest and most complex consumer requirements. The growing demand for new and local foods in Europe and beyond will boost the demand for traditional Bulgarian products, such as cold tradition from Bulgaria. And also, welcome to Plovdiv, the city of the ancient history, often referred to the city of Hill, also the capital of agricultural science, because of location here in Plovdiv, the Agriculture University and University of Food Technology, and 6 research institutes belonging to Agricultural Academy connected with agricultural science development. Also, Plovdiv as a city is located at the 2 banks of the Varica River, and the fertile lands of Plovdiv region precondition the cultivation of over 120 different agricultural crops. It was the reason for establishing an agricultural university here in the city. The Agricultural University is the only specialized state-funded university in Bulgaria, training specialists in all the areas of agriculture, environmental protection, rural development, agribusiness, and agrotourism. In the last 10 years, the university is keeping the leading position in Bulgarian university ranking system in 3 fields: plant science, plant protection, and animal sciences. Hundreds of foreign citizens have graduated from Agriculture University, working as esteemed professionals, experts, and keeping out that Mr. Jaroslav Palas, Minister of Agriculture of Czech Republic, was also student at Agriculture University, and in 2004 he was awarded with the honorary degree Doctor Honoris Causa of our university. The most important from the educational program is the practical activity of the students, and such kind of activities are realized in the training and experimental fields, growing more than 1,500 biological units, including different crops. Also, a vineyard was established 50 years ago with more and wine grape cultivars and applying modern technology of growing. Very important topic and top priority of the university is the cooperation with the industries, and also key activities are directed to industry as a partner in student education and practice, activities related to curricula development and internationalization by Erasmus and bilateral agreements, research and development projects, establishment of new centers for advanced studies and research. Not only for the preparation of the educational programs, but also in discussion with prospective employers on curricula, study programs, necessary knowledge to be gained at the university. Also organizing open days, demonstration, practical training, site visits, new bachelor and master courses connected with digitalization of agriculture, animal husbandry, and agricultural engineering were developed together with the assistance of industry and partners of the university. And also, some of the good eggs of such kind of Herbitur project has been going on for more than 20 years and elucidate the cooperation with chemical and herbicide companies. Also, for the first time this year was organized first students Herbiturs with 3 field demo events. Digitalization and unmanned technologies for sustainable and precision farming are realized with the fruitful cooperation with leading German companies as Glass, Fendt, Lemken, Bicef, Topmix, IFW, Expo, with students, practical training and field demonstration, and also with the help and assistance of a leading Bulgarian company, NIC Electronic, as the partners of our university, and also developing courses and master courses in precision farming. Strategic vision guiding the activity starts by assuming that the internationalization of higher education is a resource with multiple possibilities for developing and increasing competitiveness of the institution. Erasmus program. In this program, our partners are 104 institutions from 23 member countries and higher education from 7 countries out of the European community. Also, traditional partners from Czech Republics are Czech Republic of Life Science in Prague, University of South Bohemia in České Budějovice, Jan Amos Komenský University in Prague. Some new educational and research projects starting this year are CIPUS Network for Resilient Management of Bioactive Compounds in coordination of University at Erasmus Training for Sustainable Shepherds, Erasmus Good Teaching Practices, also Erasmus Strategic Partnership for Agricultural Policy and Sustainability in Vocational Education, Influence on Fertilizers and the Contaminants, Status of Soils and Crops. And good examples for developing these activities are established new centers for integrated management of plant disease based on modern plant protection system applied in different agricultural crops for supporting the research and agricultural producers. Methods used internet-based forecasting models, locally developed database of disease and pests, and carrying out field and laboratory experiments. The results are available on internet and quickly accessed by those interested. Also, good example is the demonstration center for e-commerce 16+1, realized together with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry, and especially with the Association for the Promotion of Agricultural Cooperation between China and Central East European countries as a part of demonstration zone cooperation. And also this project creates conditions for young people from China and Central East European countries to develop e-commerce through the developed platform used as a digital warehouse of products. Research and development projects also illustrated by only few of good projects as a national research program, Healthy Foods for Strong Bioeconomy and Quality of Life, coordinated by the university. Also, Agriculture University, the scientific program Smart Agriculture, with the key activities listed below. Also, university participate in the national scientific program Smart Animal Husbandry, with listed working packages below. The presentation is available for everybody. And the last one I would like to mention is the Plant Health new project, providing opportunities for conditioning research at modern system level of the factors influencing plant health in the soil, plant product, chain, technological solutions for safe products, and feed for the country and European Union. And the last of the projects I will mention is Suvano Europe as a thematic network co-funded by the European Commission on the Horizon 2020 program. Suvano Europe is based on a previous project called Suvano, Sustainable Water Treatment and Nutrition Resource Options, which considered in developing strategies based on water reuse projects to solve problems such as scarcity of the availability of nutrition. Suvano is a water resource project in European countries through the reuse of treated wastewater in agriculture. And Agricultural University is the active participant in this project. Also, the university hosted the high-level conference Europe 2030 Food during the presidency of Bulgaria of the Council of EU in 2018. And at the final slide, I would like to open and focus your attention on the priorities in agri-food research in agriculture, in biologically active substances, sustainable agro-ecosystems and plant protection, adaptation of crops to climate and environmental changes, smart technologies in agriculture, including plant science, animal husbandry, and agricultural engineering. Distinguished participants, I would like also to mention that our university celebrated 75 years of establishment, and we are open further to develop the agriculture and that are needed for the sustainable development of the sector. Thank you very much for your attention.
Many thanks for your presentation of your university, Ms. Jančeva. And now let's move on to another presentation of Mr. Georg Brašnarov from Bulgarian company Bascom. And his presentation is called How Bascom Supports Smart Agriculture. So you can start.
Hello. Hope you see the presentation.
Yes.
Hello to everyone. Are you seeing the presentation and hearing me?
Yes, but it's in your mode. It's not in mode for presenting.
Okay.
It's the same problem as I had. If you click display settings.
I'm sorry?
If you click display settings.
Yep.
Yeah. And you choose duplicate. So, yeah.
Okay.
It should work.
So now it's okay.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Thanks for giving me the floor. So I will start with who am I and who is Bascom. I'm founder of the Bascom. Bascom is a software association of the Bulgaria, the leading one. It was founded around 20 years ago in 2001. Nowadays is a place for more than 200 companies. Half of them are full-time members, another ones are the associated members. More than 15,000 employees we are organizing. And what is also important is this is a pure software association representing the R&D services inside, not so much sales and marketing services into the software. And the export orientation of the members of the BASCOM and the association as a whole is more than 80% export oriented. So we are mostly working on the markets in Western Europe and United States, and not so much locally. So what is our link to the smart agriculture? Different to all of the previous presenters, as I said, we are coming from the IT world and especially from the software world, and we're working, and our company are working on almost every aspect in the modern life in which software is involved. Despite of the huge presentation in the automotive sector, in the construction industry, in the financial field, and many, many other fields, like 7-8 years ago was our first contact with a project called Fractals Project, Future Internet-Enabled Agriculture Applications, which was funded under 7 framework. And BASCOM was a member of the project team, and 4 of the companies inside BASCOM which applied to financing. It was kind of early startup accelerator, if I can name it this way, in which 4 of the ideas were chosen and were founded by this project as a pure startup investment. And half of them are still live also today and working as it. Some of the previous presenters mentioned it. BASCOM now is also a founding member of the Smart Agri-Hub project, which somehow naturally followed the Fractals project and is active inside this field, adding to the agricultural specialist our IT and especially software knowledge. What we are doing with this respect is some of our companies become also founding members of the Agrohub, initiated by Mrs. Boyanova, I think a year or 2 ago. And we're also facilitating all of those meetings with the investors, B2B matchmaking conference and other initiatives and events. Working on what is important also to say that we are fully market-oriented companies and also association. We're trying to make use of all of the different funds available, and the European ones are just one fraction of it. So we are also working quite heavily with a local ecosystem of venture capital fund, of accelerators. We're also promoting our companies and our solutions, which you will see a couple of them tomorrow during the product sessions. They already found investments from the private sector and from the kind of cooperation between different business angels and VC funds. So for us, this is the right way to try to penetrate the normally very conservative agricultural sector, to help them, but not only with money from the European Union, which is most of the cases are working quite well at the beginning, but then the sustainability of those investments are under question mark, and this was a question for many, many years. Hopefully it will change, but when private interests and private money and private investors are also involved, those kind of balance are better for the final results for the both sides, for the suppliers of the solutions, but also for the clients into the agriculture sector. This is very shortly what we offer to our partners. Of course, the presentation is also already available into the storage of this conference, so you will see it if you're interested. What we are doing is just to give you another look what the software sector in Bulgaria looks like. We are running a Bascom software barometer, which is kind of statistical, but not only analysis of the trends and results of the sector for more than 10 years. From quite a small fraction of the GDP 20 years ago, now the software sector as a leading sector inside the whole IT sector become one of the really strategic sectors in Bulgaria. Even during the crisis, during the pandemic time, the software sector was one of the very few sectors which continue to grow with more than 10% growth. And maybe one of the reasons is that there are a lot of young people are interested to operate here. There are quite good balance between local players, but also a lot of investments for more than 50 global software companies, such as SAP, Software AG, not to mention those all 50s, but simply there is no company presented in the world which doesn't have kind of partnership or their own R&D lab here in Sofia or into the country. But it's also a very healthy growth because the software industry is not really much connected to the local market or to the Eastern European market. It's not depending on any subsidies coming from Europe. It's, as I said at the beginning, it's more than 80% export oriented to the biggest market in the world. And that's all from me. I will be glad to discuss more and to see more partnership with all of the associations and organizations presented here. Thank you very much for the organization. Thank you very much for the attention.
So thank you for presenting your company Bascom, Mr. Brashnarov.
Yeah, it's not a company, it's an association of 200 companies. So
okay,
that's the right expression.
Great, thank you. So now it's time to give the floor to Mr. Radek Vávra from Holovouci and his presentation on Research and Breeding Institute of Pomology, Introduction and Research Activities. Okay, so the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Radek Vávra. I am from Research and Breeding Institute of Pomology. I just share my screen. So is it okay?
Yes.
Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So my institute is a limited company with 100 employees, researchers, and technicians and supporting team. So the history, the Research Institute was founded in 1951. So we have this year 70 anniversary. We are focused on a small part of agriculture, narrow part. We are working with fruit species of temperate climate zone. In our institute, we have a very large collection of genetic resources. We have a gene bank of more than 1,300 cultivars, apricots, pears, apples, cherries. We have a very long breeding program of sweet cherries, apples, plums, and apricots. The biggest success we have with breeding of sweet cherries. Our cultivars are well known in the world. We work also with cryopreservation, healing of fruit cultivars by chemotherapy and thermotherapy. Our activities is applied research. We have around 30 licenses, license agreements about cultivars, softwares. Our cultivar licenses are in the Czech Republic, in European Union, some of them also in the United States, in Chile, China, and Australia. Our topic is aim is utility models, functional samples, methodologies that are certified by an authorized body in Czech Republic. The second part of our work is cooperation with fruit growers, with farmers. We do monitoring of pests and disease in orchards, and we provide advisory service for fruit growers. Our institute organizes international and domestic conferences, lectures, field days. Next week, we will organize International Cherry Day. We also provide individual contract research work. About project experience, we solved 2 main projects, international projects. One of them is in Horizon 2020. The name of the project is Biofruit Net, Boosting Innovation in Organic Fruit Production through Strong Knowledge Networks. In this project is 15 partners from 12 European countries. The second project is with title Healthy Fruits in Changing Climatic Conditions, and the partner is company Nibio from Norway. We have several national projects, mostly supported by Ministry of Agriculture, Technology Agency in the Czech Republic. And the focus of our projects is growing technology, irrigation, plant protection, fruit storage, and others. For commercial organization, we offer cultivars testing of cultivars of sweet cherries, apples, plums, apricots. We do also large laboratory testing of pathogens, of disease, a level of pesticides, residua, and bioactive compounds in fruits. For partners, we are interested in testing of cultivars in different climatic conditions, cooperation on research of fruit growing management, fruit growing technologies, cultivar disease and pest resistance, about fruit quality and fruit storage technology. We offer an exchange breeding program, pre-breeding of apple cultivars, marker-assisted selection by molecular markers, also testing of disease, pathogens, virus, and phytoplasma testing in fields. For commercial organization, testing of plants health, residua of pesticides, fruit quality, content of bioactive compounds, and total antioxidant activities in fruits. So our interest is agroecology, biodiversity, increasing of biodiversity, plant protection management, precision agriculture, robustness of cultivars, plant health, content of bio compounds, cryopreservation, plant healing. And focus on project is adaptation of fruit trees to climate changes, research of fruit growing technologies for smart agriculture, healthy fruits, zero residua production. For commercial organization, testing of cultivars in different growing conditions. So we have lots of experience with breeding. We have more than 87 cultivars of fruit species and rootstock that have been bred in the Czech Republic and registered. The most successful, we have sweet cherry breeding program. Our cherries, our cultivars, Cordia and Tamara is well known in the world. We have good laboratory equipment, so we can work on laboratory diagnosis of fruit crop pathogens, and we have accredited laboratory. We use molecular biology methods for assisted breeding in apples and cherries. We can determine S alleles in cherries and self-pollination cultivars. So research and development in the field of diagnosis of fruit crop pathogens is through using ELISA and PCR methods. So that's a very short presentation of our company, our Research and Breeding Institute. Thank you very much for your attention.
So many thanks for your presentation as well, Mr. Vávra. And now let's move on to another Bulgarian presentation and welcome the whole team of ARC Fund, which consists of Mr. Konstantin Uzunov, Ms. Denica Marinova, and Ms. Daniela Chonkova. So you can start your presentation on Applied Research and Communications Fund.
Hello, thank you, Marketa. I will be the presenter today. So let me share the screen. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we do.
Okay, just a second to share the screen. I think everything is okay now.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let's start. I'm Konstantin. I'm from ARC Fund, Applied and Research Communications Fund. First of all, thank you for all the organizers or to participants for the opportunity to share knowledge with you. Who are we? We are a non-for-profit organization, foundation, founded in 1991, and we are one of the leading Bulgarian innovation policy and research institutes. Our mission is to promote innovation in the European economy and facilitate the transfer of new and advanced technologies and know-how, as well to support cross-border networking and capacity building of businesses, public agencies, clusters, or private organizations. We are also the national coordinator of Enterprise Europe Network Bulgaria. As you know, this is the largest information consulting network in Europe in support, providing support to small and medium-sized enterprises in developing their innovation technological potential. As you know, agriculture faces many and multi-level challenges. From one side, there are demand challenges, those that are linked to population growth, urbanization, demographic shifts, and changes in consumers' behavior. On the other hand, the supply challenges are related to labor, like aging farmers, migration from rural to urban, capital, technology, and natural resources, reduced freshwater supplies and arable land, climate changes, and so on. Agriculture and forestry in the city in general answer to a variety of urban development goals beyond the provision of green infrastructure and food, such as adaptation to climate change, poverty alleviation, urban water management, and opportunities for more productive use of urban waste, as well reducing supply chain logistics and social inclusion, which is also one of the most important factors. As you know, there are not one or two examples for successful projects where people with disabilities are involved. All the huge positive impact, urban farming should be considered as an integral part of the agriculture ecosystem that complements and multiplies the possibilities of traditional agriculture. So they should go hand in hand. Citizen project. In the past 2 years, our organization is actively involved in a regional project, so-called Citizen. You can see a brief project summary on the slide. Our goal here is to foster urban farming policies so that we create more social and economic impacts in our regions. This includes support to new business models for urban agriculture, as well as the whole range of social initiatives that strengthen communities and rebuild urban sites. Our final result would be to have stronger and more resilient food systems and better use of city resources. Here you can see the Citizen project partners. As you can see, they're across the Europe, from 5 regions across Europe. We have partners from Spain, Germany, Greece, Portugal. They represent different institutions, programs, universities, and so on. How urban farming matters to our project. First and foremost, we think that urban farming activates citizens. It's not only because the healthy diet creates more energetic individuals, but mostly because citizens get actively involved in city policies. They get stronger bonds with the local initiatives and the vision of the city for sustainable development as a whole. It has also a role for city greening and better use of local resources. For example, the rooftop gardens that become part of city skyline, the indoor farming, shorter food miles by localizing food production closer to consumers and so on. Urban farming also provides healthy food accessible to people with lower income who don't have the opportunity to reach or access it by alternative channels. It also educates and creates new skills that get sense of achievement to people of different ages and abilities. Another key point that should be mentioned here is that urban farming has the means and values to mediate and comply with diverse motivations of many people that live in the city limited spaces. It is an area where public policies can meet the bottom-up initiatives via inclusive governance models. It is also a fruitful field for innovations to solve challenges with the use of resources and offer new products and services to a wide range of users and industries. Also, it can be a great job opportunity for teenagers. It could be a part or full-time employment for single parents, migrants, disabled, or elderly people. Citizen policy impact. What is our policy impact? We and our partners are currently working with several policy instruments. Some of them represent regional operational programs, local non-ERDF instruments, strategic development plans, and others. Our future policy actions would be for better neighborhoods and reduce illegal landfills, stronger food systems and education, to empower citizens, farmers, and social groups, as well to reduce waste of food and other resources, create new business and jobs, and decarbonize city activities. Citizen resources. Our resources by the project include, we had over 40 events with local international community, 15 good practices by our regions, and 5 action plans with steps and practical information to enhance regional urban farming policies. All of them could be accessed on the pointed website address. I would like to tell some words about smart agriculture and the way forward. Now I'm focusing mainly on urban farming opportunities Of course, there are a lot of other smart technologies which could be applied in traditional farming as well, like autonomous vehicles, tractors, drones that revolutionized agriculture by offering stakeholders measure cost savings, enhanced efficiency, and more profitability. Although some of the technologies have roots decades ago, nowadays the environment is favorable for their growth and for more massive application and scale up. The intersections of agriculture, biotech, digital advances, and wellness are transforming the global food industry. Technical innovations have the ability to transform every link in the food chain, from stick to fork, as some of the previous participants already mentioned. This could be seen as a set of powerful disruptive technologies that have already started to make a difference in the cities. So on the slide there are the most prominent examples of such technologies. Let me tell some words about each of them. Internet of Things based on smart farming, farm management software and IoT systems. Agriculture producers in cities have to track a lot of parameters on a daily basis to ensure higher quality of crops. So the Internet of Things sensors and opportunities could assist and mitigate the challenges by mining data about important farm factors such as soil, air, water, and climate for forecasting analysis. Furthermore, IoT-based smart farming systems constantly develop and could automatically adjust farm equipment to the changing conditions. They could measure humidity, air, water, temperature, and so on. And this data also could be accessible in most of the cases via mobile and web applications, so could be managed remotely. Farming vertical, indoor and outdoor. Vertical farming possibilities are almost limitless and vary in scale and could be applied to almost everywhere by everyone. Why grow vertical? In short, you can grow anywhere, indoor and outdoor, business or household spaces. You can use significantly less water and grow even better crops as you have because you have the better control of the environment. Rooftop farming. Rooftops, as you know, accumulate heat from being exposed to direct sunlight, radiating heat back to the environment and thus making urban areas warmer, the so-called heat island effect. Rooftop gardening and farming can mitigate these issues by increasing buildings' natural insulation and thermoregulation, filtering pollution from the air while producing fresh food, and all this is close to the end consumers. The rooftop farming has certain limitations considering the design, construction of the roof and the right use. So this should be checked with the local authorities most often. Yet the rooftop space provides priceless opportunities for urban farming in greening the cities and becomes an integral part of future energy efficient buildings. Even at the design settled at an early development stage of the development considers this. Aquaponics. What is aquaponic? It's a cultivation of fresh plants together in constructed recirculating ecosystem, utilizing natural bacterial cycles to convert fish waste to plant nutrition. This is in general. It also could come in various sizes from small indoor units to large commercial units. This technology is environmentally friendly and harness the best attributes of aquaculture and hydroponics without the need to discard any water or filtrate or add chemical fertilizers. Urban aquaponics addresses land scarcity issues in smart cities by developing a smart water environment which combines fish farming through aquaculture and crop farming through hydroponics. This system is gaining popularity among citizens, experts, investors. Some words about aeroponics. This is an advanced form of hydroponics, and this is the process of growing plants in an air or mist environment rather than soil. Hydroponics brings the nutrition solution, while aeroponics sprays droplets of the solution onto the roots of the plants. The analysis shows that the yields are considerably higher with hydroponics and aeroponics than with soil gardening, from 3 to more than 20 times higher, in fact. And water consumption is also much lower, up to 90% in savings. Plants are also healthier and almost disease-free due to the control environment. They also grow faster as they could be nourished extremely accurate. Freight container farming. As smart cities actively work to minimize distance and time between citizens and fresh produce, freight container farming creates many opportunities. They bring together the possibilities of smart farming, vertical farming, and hydroponics and aquaponics, while taking food closer to the end consumer while eliminating transportation costs. The advantages here are control environment, monitoring, automated dosing in irrigation, remote control, and so on. Let me say some words in conclusion. Many developing countries are already benefiting from disruptive technologies. However, many more are not even starting to use them. There is much untapped potential to increase food production, promote entrepreneurship. More and more startups are diving into the possibilities of urban farming, attempting to define the city landscape. While smart cities have so far mostly focused on building on more efficient and sustainable infrastructures, including in terms of energy usage and means of transportation. Urban farming is yet to be fully integrated in the urban ecosystem, and it is up to us to grasp the opportunities for urban farming development and create cities a cleaner and greener living space. So thank you. Our team is open for any upcoming regional initiatives and partnerships related to urban farming joint projects. Thank you once again.
So thank you, Mr. Ozanov, for presenting the ARC fund. And now it's time to give the floor to another presenter, Ms. Violeta Boyanova from Bulgarian Agriculture Academy, and her presentation on research and innovative solutions for smart agriculture in Agriculture Academy. So the floor is yours, Ms. Boyanova. We cannot hear you, so please unmute yourself.
Sorry, I was mute. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you for your invitation for this very interesting for me conference. Good morning to all participation in this conference. I will present research and innovation solution for smart agriculture in Agricultural Academy, Bulgaria. I am vice president of this academy. Our institution is the only specialized scientific institution of Bulgaria and the oldest for research, consulting, and training in the field of agriculture, directly subordinated to Ministry of Agriculture and Food. Our strengths are established regional network of institutes and experimental stations over the all region of Bulgaria, and integration of all functional units of the innovation process in agriculture, from the idea to the scientific products. 90–20% of certificates for plants variety and breeds, which are used by the Patent Office of Bulgaria, are possessed and maintained by our academy, as well as 4 patents and 31 marks. What activity we do? First, more and more research activity, but together with this research activity, we do applied activity, control and evaluation activity, expert and advisory activity, and information consulting and training activity, training of PhD students and training of farmers. Our activity, research activity, are in the main area as sustainable use of resources, soil, water, and genetic resources, plant and animal breeding, plant and animal genetics, and biotechnology, technology development and technological units for conventional and organic farming, fish resources and aquaculture, safe quality and healthy food and animal feed, and improving the quality of life in rural areas. Some of this area in one broader context are related to smart agriculture. And I will focus on our previous experience and our recent project only related to smart agriculture. Our previous experience started before we start to talk about smart agriculture and precise agriculture. Institute for Soil Science and Crop Protection, Pushkarov in Sofia, have experience in assessing the state of soil and plant resources based on joint aerospace and ground measurement, conducting synchronous and terrestrial agronomic observation and agrophysical measurement. We have national network of test areas and special distribution of research institute and experimental station of the Agricultural Academy near the other test station for aerospace observation. Databases, we have databases with soil and agrochemical characteristic of the areas and vegetation calendars for main crops. You can see one of the most important publication related to this observation related to monitoring of the risk. Monitoring of the risk of farmland abandonment as an efficient tool to assess the environment and socio-economic impact of the common agricultural policy. All this previous experience was made together with our colleagues from Space Research and Technology Institute to Bulgarian Academy of Science, with project Mars Mera to Joint Research Center and European Earth Observation Program. Some of picture from this observation. We have reduced version of the digitalized soil map of Bulgaria based on the soil map in this scale. Now I will talk about our recent project related to precise agriculture and smart agriculture. under the National Scientific Program, Healthy Foods for National and Strong Bioeconomy and Quality of Life, we work for creation of algorithms for distinguishing conventional and organic crops using field measurement, aerial drone photos, and satellite image from Sentinel-2. We have the first positive results from this investigation that we prepared as one scientific paper. And after our mathematical and image processing, we can trace the difference in dynamics and development during the different growth stage of the crops in the organic and conventional fields by spectral characteristic from satellite images, and they can be used to distinguish them. You can see of this figure multi-dimensional clusterization. After procedure of multi-dimensional clusterization, blue point are the conventional field, and other green and yellow point are the organic polygons after different predecessor, and you can see the very good distinguishing between this cluster. This is only one pilot investigation, but we hope that after the finishing of this project, we can make one methodology for distinguishing organic and conventional fields that will be very useful for certification control and control over the subsidy and more security for consumers. The next new project are related with smart plant breeding. And this project is founded on the National Scientific Program Smart Crop Science that founded from Ministry of Education and Science. This project is related with plant phenomics, one very new area of research that combined the research from different areas such computer research and breeders and molecular biologists. A scientific, the name of project is use of data from specialized phenomic platforms for selection of plants with a set of valuable traits to facilitate the plant breeding. Within this project, we implement two scientific tasks, research and of the possibility of new generation of high performance technology for plant phenomics based on remote and non-invasive measurement to a large number of plants on a complex and valuable breeding traits. And the second scientific task is generation and phenomic data and their combination with genomic data in order to identify suitable genomics markers for accelerated creation of new genotypes of important agricultural crops with increased yield and adaptability to changing climate conditions. This project we implement together with Agricultural University Plovdiv and Nicola Vaptsarov Naval Academy in Varna and Space and Research and Technology Institute in Sofia. This project starts in May, and you can see our first images from made from drones with thermal camera, and we are happy to look this good difference between different genotypes. I hope that after finishing this project, we could have one methodology for smart breeding, and we could use images from drones and satellite images for selecting of best plants with higher quantity and quality. The next project related to smart breeding is project establishment of National Information Network of the Gene Bank, Plant Genetic Resources. This project is founded from from Ministry of Education and Science too, and participants in this project are institutes of plant genetic resource, Sadovo, belonging to Agricultural Academy, Plovdiv University, and Institute of Information and Communication Technology to Bulgarian Academy of Science. Another very interesting project in this area is TMOD, Promoting Technology, Innovation, and Environmental Monitoring of Modeling for Assessment of Fish Stock and Non-Fish Resources, founded from this program Black Sea Cross-Border Cooperation. This project units the efforts of six project partners from 5 Black Sea countries: Bulgaria, our Institute for Fish Resources in Varna, and Romania, Georgia, Moldova, and Greece. And the main aim of project are related to web-based open GIS tool for implementation of modeling data by stakeholders and end users, operational forecast platform for water quality circulation in the Black Sea, web-based mobile data tool, and database tool of hydro environmental monitoring and modeling output. Which partner we seek for Horizon Europe? Our partner from research and private sectors that are related to mission soil health and food, adaptation to climate change, and healthy oceans and seas. I want to say that we are a very good partner for startup company and for small enterprises that want to operate in precise agriculture, because we have very good expertises for monitoring of all parameters of soil and plants. And we can be useful for testing and validation of all new decision, computer software decision, and other precise agriculture decision. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'm ready.
So many thanks for presenting the Agricultural Academy, Ms. Boyanova. And now we are moving to the last presentation of today, which is a presentation of Czech University of Life Sciences in Prague and Mr. Miloš Ullman. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello.
Ms. Boyanova, yes.
I hope you can see my slides now.
Yes.
Perfect. So welcome everybody. My name is Miloš Ullman. Thank you for having me here today. I would like to shortly introduce our department and Czech University of Life Sciences Prague, which I'm part of. And I would like to briefly also speak about types of projects we are involved in and what we are looking for in Horizon Europe research project calls and what kind of partners we could be for your projects. So CZU Prague is the third largest public university in Prague, Czech Republic. It's a multidisciplinary university, so you can find very large range of specialties here and researchers. We have experience in more than 70 EU finance projects so far. I'm coming from the Department of Information Technologies, which also has a broad scope of activities. And besides teaching, we work quite extensively on various research projects. Just a very short overview. One of the recent projects we have just concluded is based on analysis of 3D scans of crops to determine their growth and factors that they influence their growth. Here we applied computer vision and machine learning algorithms to analyze it. Another project also with partner from India was crop modeling based on weather data and soil and other types of data for local farmers. One of past projects was tracking and forecasting of behavior of wild animals around Czech Republic. We have been monitoring more than 160 individuals of wild animals based on GPS collars. So our team is quite strong in development of various applications. We know how to work with large companies and government agencies, but also with startup companies. And I would like to introduce our current project financed under Horizon 2020 program. Here our team is acting as coordinator. It's a project called Polyrural. It's more in rural development and policy making. But this project has two different tracks. One is rural development and the second one is development of innovative software tools, especially tools that can help researchers to do their work fast and come up with better measures for policies. So this project is currently ongoing. It's until 2022. And another previous project financed under EU program was WAR, which was about connecting different data sources by means of metadata. Here we had a role as a partner and we were involved in technical development of software solution. Now I would like to very briefly speak about types of topics we are looking for. It's definitely our competencies and skills fit into climate, energy, and mobility calls. And we are also very interested in food and bioeconomy, natural resources, and agriculture and environment, because by definition, our university is quite close to these fields. But we can be also a good partner in certain projects under digital industry and space cluster of projects. What we can offer for you and your ideas, we definitely have strong experience in project coordination in the ongoing project Polyrural, and we can be also partners, especially in thematic expertise like agriculture, energy, digitalization, or rural development. We can bring specialists on analysis and modeling, and we have also very long track of experience in communication and dissemination activities from past and current projects. So if you'll be interested, I'll be happy to get in touch with you and we can talk more in details later. Thank you for your attention. I think that the moderator has mic off.
I see. Thank you. So thank you again, Mr. Ullmann, for presenting the work of your university. This was the last presentation of today. So let me thank again to all presenters. I think we learned a lot about various organizations, and now it's time for the discussion. So if you have anything to tell us, please do not hesitate, unmute your microphone and just speak. Okay.
Okay, may I take the word?
Sure.
Okay, firstly, I would like to thank to everybody for joining at this first, as I mentioned in the beginning, hopefully first of many meetings to come. And not only meetings, I really would appreciate something I've noticed here is that the Bulgarian and the Czech companies and organization, they kind of don't know about each other. And one of the main purposes is to get known. I believe that after exchanging so many presentations, both sides have understood what the other side can offer. So I pledge to you, I urge you, I beg you, exchange your contacts. When you start thinking about the project, let your first thought be, oh, there are Bulgarians there doing something, or there are Czechs there doing something. Can we do something together? So that was everything. That was what I wanted to say. I will, in the chat, I will send you my contacts. Anytime, if you want to know something about Bulgaria, or for the Czech side, if you want to, if you're looking for the Bulgarian side, if you're looking for a Czech partner, always can contact me and I'll happily help you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I think that also from our side, we are ready to help and assist in the cooperation to build consortia or to cooperate. Already during this meeting, we exchanged some chats about some potential cooperation. So I think that it is very useful. And what I saw from Bulgarian side, I am sure that there is a lot of good work for the project, and I'm sure that we will be able to communicate. I think that if you registered yourself, Sharka probably will send you all information. Sharka, maybe that you can say about the availability of the video record and presentation.
Yes. The recording of today's conference will be placed on Virus Info website, and as well I will send a link to all registered people. So, and if you want to be informed about new events, please leave contact for us and we will inform you about new conferences in cooperation Bulgarian and Czech participants. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I noticed in chat, Karel asked a question if the Bulgarian ministry can participate on Horizon Europe proposal. So if there is Mr. Krastev still, or yeah, maybe he could answer. Or maybe Mr.
Mr. Krastevitsky.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I missed this one. I didn't see it at the chat, but later, I guess we can exchange information through the mail and connect with the right expert from the Ministry of Agriculture who is responsible in regards with the Horizon in order to collaborate together.
Because public bodies are very often required to be the part, and as Nadia mentioned, yes, there will be a lot of things also related to the policies, and then could be good cooperation. And I think that such organization like you can be a really useful partner for a number of proposals which are now in the call in October and in February.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to ask a question or share a comment on anything?
Svetlana seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you very much. Just a small comment. With the ministries, in principle, it's tricky to be part of Horizon project. As for example, if you have several project ideas, the ministry should choose how it will choose in which project proposal to be included. I mean, it is possible, but from my experience, it is very often that they are staying a bit aside because you can have several consortium, for example, to prepare the Horizon project. Anyway, I have a question for maybe you, Karel, or someone else from Czech Republic. What are the main difficulties in front of your farmers that need to have these digital technologies in their hands? I mean, as I said, in Bulgaria, this is irrigation, this is land consolidation, this is environmental challenges, digital skills, etc. And how is it in Czech Republic? What is the farmer need, let's say, currently?
I think that now the main effort or problems for farmer are with the discussion about the Green Deal. Yes, because the Green Deal will bring a number of restrictions, and probably there will be no chance to adopt farming on this restriction without using the smart technology. In the Czech, yes, because from the time of communism, we have usually very big farms, yes. So I think that 80% of our arable land is in the farm bigger than 500 hectares. So it means from one side that there is a relatively good possibility to introduce new technology, but on other side, there is a number of negative environmental impact of agriculture because soil compaction, erosion, is to be able to accumulate water in the countryside. So there is a number of things which are in some way related with agriculture production and environment. We have some, not big number, but some number of farms who are already using smart technology, as this is growing, but now more and more focus will be probably on this environmental issue and new things. There are farms which started already use contour farming, for example. The other problem is the many farms has now new modern technology. As the machinery from John Deere, Echo and other. Usually this machinery has the technology for smart farming. But nobody knows how to use this technology. Yes, you are paying for expensive technology, but you are not able to use this technology. And there is necessary to build advisory system, to build education for this new technology, because if you don't understand new machinery, if you don't understand these new methods, you are not able to use this technology. And this is the big problem for a huge number of farms. So there is necessary to build, I already mentioned this in my presentation, the system for training, at first the training of trainers who could be advisor or who could be also for, machinery reseller or services to understand this. And what is also important is to build some ecosystem which will help to prepare data for farmers. Yes, because no farmer will deal directly, or no farmer, only few farmers will be able to deal with something what we are calling big data. As they are not interested about the data, they are interested about knowledge, where to put fertilizer, how much fertilizer, what is the best time. Yes, so there is necessary to build some added value chain of organization where will be expert, for example, for Earth observation, preparing the processing of Earth observation data. But Earth observation data or experts are not able to understand phenology. Yes, so you need to have their agronomists. And what is important is to build an environment where all these people will work together, and the farmer will be on the end, and he will receive the knowledge, but the knowledge in understandable form for him, not black box. Yes, he wants to understand why he is doing this. Okay, he don't want to go to detail, but he wants to see, okay, on the base of satellite images, it seems that in this part of the field you have low yield, and then agronomist has to discuss with him why the yield is there low. Yes, and then farmer on the end has to take decision what he can apply, because it is not good if other people will take decision on behalf of the farmer, because then farmer will be only owner of the land, but they are able to explain him the situation in the form which will be understandable for him, and farmer will take decision what they want to do.
Thank you. Yeah.
So anyone else, any comments?
May I? All right. In the very beginning, I was not kidding. I really yesterday spoke with my colleague from the Bulgarian embassy in Israel, and he said that this topic is very important in Israel. They have huge achievements. You know that Israel is one of the most innovative countries in the world. So I would really appreciate if you tell me whether you have interest to organize a common conference between Bulgarian, Czech, and Israeli organizations, let's say somewhere in October or November. And then if you think this is a good idea, I'll speak with Mr. Harvat, and well, we'll go for it. As I said, this is first of many.
I think that from our side, yes, I can say that maybe that half of our project is with Israel's partner. Yes, we have some good partners, good cooperation in Israel, and it is very effective. And the knowledge in Israel is very high, and they are expert in irrigation, in other things. Yes, because you know that they are producing almost in desert, but they are able to be self-sustainable in agriculture production. So really, to work with Israelis is effective, and I think that also Miloš can confirm that you are also cooperating with Israelis, and generally on the Czech side is interest, and we can try to prepare something, and also we can directly invite some partners from Israel who will be interested to participate on such event.
From our side, Mr. Stoilov, we had already delegation 2 weeks ago. So we are moving forward, and the Israeli people, they met almost everyone, like a stakeholder here. So maybe if you insist to have such a common meeting, we have to think how exactly to construct and what topic exactly more particular, because we already have good, let's say, connection channels for communication with the different Israeli representatives in different sector, irrigation, and not only, but as Karel said, irrigation is the topic for them. So if we do something, we have to be more specific. So far, just a common general meeting, I don't think is a good idea.
Definitely not a general meeting. That was, as I said, an idea. If you think it's a good idea, then everything starts with an idea. Then we'll move forward, we'll make a brainstorming, we'll put the things, we'll have much more time than we had now with Carol. And I really would like to thank to the team of Wireless Info, because without them, without the work of especially Šárka Horáková. Thank you, Pani Horáková. This would not have happened. If, however, you say sounds interesting, then I'll do some discussions and we'll place the idea. You'll say, okay, we're interested in this and this and this, and then we'll start joining together, because as I said, it's all about communication, all about cooperation. Nobody alone, no Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Israel, United States alone, they can't do anything. We are really facing very serious problems, and only united we can face them and make money out of them.
I have some suggestion about this, yes, maybe that will be good to organize this in second half of October, because this will be the time for when the consortia for February will be put together, and we can organize this a little like some brokerage event to try to select could be some ideas. We can before exchange of information about the calls which will be for February. We can prepare already some ideas for some concrete calls and try to discuss this topic, because on 6th of October there will be deadline for current calls. So after this, there will be the time to discuss new things, and because the period between these two calls is very short, they will be necessary immediately after submission of the February proposal to start hardly work on a new call. So the half of October will be probably optimal to organize something, and it could be a little more organized as brokerage event, not as presentation of the company, but already as presentation of some ideas for proposals.
Excellent. Excellent. I will get in contact with you to make kind of short brainstorming. Maybe I'll invite my colleague from Israel as well, and then we can have the idea and let's say start this second project. Perfect.
I am sure that we can again speak with Nadia. She is able also to assist to us.
Yeah. Definitely, Karel, we can contribute, and we can order B2Match tool for this very focused brokerage event among Czech, Israel, and Bulgarian partners. Definitely, we will collaborate with pleasure.
Thanks. So, are there some any ideas, suggestion for meeting today? I think that today was focused on research, but maybe that it will be also interested for you tomorrow to follow this more commercial-oriented meeting. So you are all invited to join us also tomorrow. I am really very happy that we had good participation, and most of people stay till the end. So it looks that the meeting was useful for you. And I think that Markéta, you can make some official closing.
Yes, you actually stole my words. I just wanted to say many thanks to all of you, to the presenters as well, the audience. We are very glad that you came and that you stayed to the end. As I mentioned, all presentations will be available for download, and we will later distribute a link to the shared space. My special thanks goes to Šárka Horáková, who might be behind the scene, but who is the real VIP, since without her efforts, this conference would not take place at all. So Šárka, thank you for everything you have done. And before we end up this today's session, let me invite you to the second part of the conference, which will take place tomorrow again at 9 a.m. Central European Summer Time and 10 a.m. Eastern European Time on Zoom. The link is the same, and we will continue in similar way as today. So again, thank you very much for your attention, and see you tomorrow.